Always remember this definition of a paragraph: a collection of sentences that states and develops one and only one idea. If you follow this simple rule, you will never confuse your reader by veering off course. But wait, what about dialogue? To write dialogue, most writers break down who says what into a bunch of short paragraphs. But you really can't call each line of dialogue a paragraph. Each line is just part of a larger whole. Collectively, though, the lines add up to a paragraph, which states and develops a single idea. I call these lines of dialogue a paracluster. So there are two ways to state and develop a single idea. In a paragraph, you write as many sentences as you need to state and develop one idea. Then you hit the return key. In a paracluster, you write a collection of lines of dialogue. For each line you indent, you hit the return key. Together, these lines of dialogue state and develop one idea. Stories usually look like this: a series of full paragraphs with occasional paraclusters of dialogue along the way. To stay on track, you should be able to describe the core idea in every paragraph and every paracluster. Let's dig in to examine a cluster of dialogue in the classic film His Girl Friday, about a newspaper editor and his ex-wife and ex-reporter. She comes back to tell him that she's marrying another man.
What's his line?
He's in the insurance business.
Insurance business?
Well, that's a good, honest business, isn't it?
Oh, certainly is honest. It's also adventurous. It's romantic. Listen, Hildy, I can't picture you being surrounded by policies. Policies to the right of them. Politics doesn't make sense.
I can, and I like it. What's more?
So, how do all these short paragraphs, these lines of dialogue, add up? Can we come up with a tabloid headline to describe what's going on in this scene? There's an idea. Here it is. Is Hildy making a mistake? Martin Luther King and Roy Wilkins were two of the giants of the civil rights movement. They were often in conflict. Wilkins wanted the movement to take a legal strategy. King promoted protest and direct action. The NAACP's Roy Wilkins complained that King talked but never changed anything. "Martin, if you have desegregated anything by your efforts, kindly enlighten me," Wilkins said. "Well," King said, "I guess the only thing I've desegregated so far is a few human hearts." So, what would the tabloid headline be for this brief set of dialogue? What's happening in these lines of dialogue? Well, Roy Wilkins is challenging Martin Luther King. He's trying to put him in his place. He's trying to put him down, provoke him, but in a passive-aggressive way. How about Roy needles Martin? Let's do another one. This comes from John Krakauer's book, Into the Wild, about a young man named Chris McCandless who is on his way to Alaska in a search for adventure and authenticity. His new friend Franz is concerned about his safety. Pause the video and think about what tabloid headline you would give this brief exchange. Here it is again for quick reference. So, what's the tabloid headline here? Here's one. Franz reaches out. He's trying to protect his young friend. He's trying to do it without bruising his ego. Let's go a little deeper. This comes from The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. In this scene, the narrator, Nick, describes his squabble with Jordan, a selfish woman who cheats and lies when it suits her. The collection of lines in this dialogue, arranged as 8 paragraphs, should be considered a single idea. It's a paracluster. So, what is the one single idea that this paracluster describes? Here's one. Dishonest people exploit honest people. Maybe this is a better idea. Nick sees through Jordan. Now it's your turn. Find a great story, a novel, or even a nonfiction work. Find the paraclusters of dialogue. Pick out 2 or 3 of these paraclusters and write a tabloid headline for each.